Well, boys, there was supposed to be a Merseyside derby this week. We were all hyped up about it. We made a big deal about it last week, and so I think we should talk about that this week. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. That guy up top is Brad. He supports Chelsea. Down below, that is Sean. He supports Tottenham Hotspurs. Gentlemen, good day. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Bro, so like I'm fantastic. I am amazing. London is blue. Things are happening. We're not a title contender, but we are definitely locking down our Champions League spot. I feel great. How do you guys feel?
I just want to amend your intro just slightly.
Yes, sir.
I more follow Tottenham. I don't know that I support them. That's how I feel.
As he tears down the scarf behind him.
Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, my team is terrible, so like whatever. We same thing, different, same thing, different.
It could be worse. It could be worse, brother.
It feels like we're last. Anyway, we'll get into all that. If you are new here, if you just stumbled across us, first, thanks so much for clicking on the video or on the podcast. We really do appreciate it. If you could hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell if you're on YouTube. If you're on one of the podcast sites, hit it with a follow, 5-star review. All of those things really do help us out. Drop a comment. Comments are now live on Spotify, and I promise to do my best to check those. If you comment on Spotify, I won't say more than I'll do my best. And just generally, thank you. Hit that share button. Okay, we'll task the intern to do it.
Yeah, the extra intern, the hidden intern behind me. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, so match round 15 in the Premier League. So yeah, I thought this was really, really hilarious that I titled last week's podcast, the preview, Merseyside Madness.
I was gonna say that. So like we
got it. We got Merseyside Madness.
We ain't get no football though. Ain't no football taking place on the Merseyside. Apparently in Liverpool, England, a little bit of wind and rain is scary, and we got to cancel football fixtures because of a little bit of rain and a little bit of wind, which is wild to me because it's a port town. Like, I'm fairly certain it rains 70% of the year in Liverpool.
I'm going to get us in trouble. I'm doing it.
Please do. I support this.
You know, I have a storied history of calling Europeans wimps. It gets about 70 degrees Fahrenheit and they start complaining about how hot it is.
Yep.
They don't complain about cold. I will give them that. Cold doesn't seem to bother Europeans. I'll give them that. But like, we all three, I don't think I'm doxing us by saying we all three live in the East Coast time zone. We deal with hurricanes from time to time.
And we're all kind of in the South.
Yeah.
Ish, yeah.
You and I are a little bit more ish than Brad, but we're kind of in the South.
I consider where I live the South.
We're all in Confederate states, so that counts as the South.
all of our states that we live in were at one point in the Confederacy.
Yeah.
We deal with hurricanes. You put a bungee cord around your trash can. You make sure all the tree limbs are not going to hit your house, and you just live your life, and you just move on. And it sucks for about 8 hours, and then you move on. These wimps canceled a professional football game because the wind was blowing like 40 miles an hour or something.
Yeah.
Like, grow up. It's like, go kick the ball around. You'll be okay. There's no trees that are going to knock down Anfield. Or no, they were at Goodison. No tree is going to knock down Goodison.
They might want to not have a tree knock down Goodison because they're moving next year.
Yeah. Insurance claim on the stadium? Why not?
Absurd. Absolutely absurd.
Insurance fraud on the way out the door? Why not? Do it.
A little bit of insurance fraud out the door. So
no, it's so insane to me to cancel a game because it's windy.
Yeah.
It's just
I think the only thing, Sean, you and I have some experience with this a couple years ago when the North London Derby got canceled in January. So it was a little bit later when it got canceled, but the Premier League held on to that game until April.
Mhm.
So I think that we need to hold on to this game until at least late March, early
Yeah.
April.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that
100%.
makes sense.
Yeah, we
100%.
canceled that one because like one person got sick on Arsenal, and you guys were like, "We can't play.
Well, to be
We
fair,
can't play."
we followed the rules, the COVID rules at the time.
Okay,
So
yeah, all right.
if there, yeah.
We've already argued about that one, so no
Yeah,
need to bring it back
Go
up.
back and check episode 62 of Red Card Radio
Yeah,
where we
yeah.
litigated that. Anyway,
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
so I would have said there were 10 matches played in round 15, but in fact there were only 9 because rain is scary. And we actually had some really interesting results. I think I say that, and we're going to start with the game that was played between both of your clubs. And
Let's do
maybe,
this. Yeah.
maybe historically and on paper, like if I just say the fact that Chelsea won, that's not necessarily an interesting result, but maybe the context by the way in which we got there makes it more interesting. So with that, Sean, tell me how your team didn't hold on to a 2-goal lead in the first 20 minutes.
What I will say, it is off the top of my head, it's at least the third time this year that we have looked absolutely oppressive for a certain period of the game, where the other team has no chance to come back, and miraculously, we just pull our foot off the gas, and then at that point, the other one that came to mind was Brighton, and then there's one more that I can't put my finger on, but Brighton did the same thing where we're up 2-0, and it feels like Brighton doesn't have a chance in the world. And then boom,
yeah.
three goals, boom, just like that. And it didn't feel like we had a chance. There's no hope on the field where you're watching the game and you're thinking, oh, well, they scored, but it's okay. We'll go and score another one. No, it didn't feel like that. And it felt the exact same against Chelsea, where we go up 2-0 and then it just switched. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we're getting shelled. Absolutely shelled. And the fact that it wasn't 6 or 7 goals is miraculous and a testament. I know it's funny to say that Fraser Forster had a good game after giving up 4 goals, but I feel like he had a pretty good game because he had so many saves that there was a double save situation where he just barely got to a Cole Palmer shot, and then got up and saved the Neto shot. It just like it could have been more.
Yeah, 4 goals is a little harsh on him just because 2 of them were penalties. But
Yeah.
What do you think, Brad?
Homie was peppered. I mean, 17 shots, 8 on target. Like, so
he probably needs to go to
he probably
needs to go to therapy this week. Like, he might have PTSD of just like there's a ball getting kicked at him every 3 seconds. It feels like.
I think those first 2 goals, this game should have been wrapped up, but those first 2 goals were also big mistakes. And
what's with your boys? What's with your boy's shoes?
And he binned them things, and we won the game. That's what happened. He put that in the bin.
He's in trouble for that. We don't want to get in trouble. We don't want to get Puma.
Just like
we got no problem
Puma,
with your shoes.
Yeah, send us your shoes. I'll put one. I'll hang one on my
I will
wall.
wear them.
I will put it on. Yeah, I will have it as a necklace. We'll do that. Puma sponsor us. We're down.
We won't put them in the trash.
Those 230-pound shoes are worth every penny.
Every
pound sterling.
Pound sterling.
Pound.
Yeah.
Every pound.
Yeah. But $250 shoe is worth every penny. There we go.
Yes.
The email address is info.redcardradio@gmail.com.
Yes.
Puma. Just so you know.
Yes. Yeah, we will wear them.
Hit us up with a good Christmas present.
But he did bin them. That was funny, and I think
funny.
I think you said he got in trouble for that.
Yeah, he had to take it down, and then he's got to do some extra Puma advertising or something. Bring that shoe back, because they literally launched the shoe this week, and homie's putting it in the trash can.
You know what it reminds me?
Those slips, we had the ball, but we weren't doing anything with it. You guys had us locked into our own third for those first 20 to 25 minutes. Even after Romero came off, the press was still there. And then Sancho, like somehow we get the ball up. Sancho works his magic, like Dortmund-esque magic, and knocks in a killer goal. And all of a sudden, it felt like you guys just deflated. Like, oh no, it's happening again. And then it happened again, and a couple of stupid fouls. Like I think that's very fair to say.
I don't think either one of the penalties I can look at and say that is not a penalty. We got aggrieved.
Correct.
Both penalties. I was like, oh, man, you can't do that.
So
Can't do that.
Sancho's goal was in like the 27th, 30th minute, something like that, middle of the first half, right? Spurs saw out the first half, up a goal. So they went into halftime up 2-1.
Yes.
But we were getting absolutely obliterated. Yeah.
And well, okay, sure. That it might not feel that way, but they did. And so you take some solace in the fact that, Chelsea are in this game, but we're holding them. It's really, to me, it's the stupid penalty that Bissouma gives away early in the second half to let Chelsea draw equal.
I can't even come here and argue that Anthony Taylor ruined this game.
It was a bad.
And Bissouma was wronged, and Tottenham were the victim here. I can't even argue it because it's just a foul. It is, and it was in the box.
I mean, but to be fair to Anthony Taylor, he did miss 2 red cards this game.
Okay, let's talk about that because the elbow.
I don't think the elbow I think is much more egregious than the Caicedo.
I agree.
Although I would understand the Caicedo being shown red because of precedent set, but also like it's not the full it was a clip, not like a full on smash.
The thing about the Caicedo one is that the still image of the Caicedo one looks horrifying.
Yes,
it's like full perpendicular bottom of the shoe to someone's shin. I forget which player it was. But then when you watch the video, it really is like a touch to the shin and all of the force and all of the impact goes into the player's foot. So it's a foul.
Yeah.
And he called it a foul.
Yes.
But I generally agree with the way that VAR interpreted the fact that he touches his leg, but all of the force goes into the foot. So that doesn't seem like that's seriously violent conduct.
Hey, and good on VAR for immediate, literally, as we're recording this, it was 2 days ago, and the video is already out with an explanation on why it was not a red card.
Now, the Kulusevski one is bad because
that's a red card. Homie.
I was complaining about Bruno Guimaraes last year against Arsenal, putting an elbow into Jorginho's face, and Bruno's still doing that this year. And so, that should be a red card because you can't put elbows in people's heads.
I can understand when you at Anthony Taylor live. I'm gonna give you just see them running together and then pop and Romeo doesn't go down because he gets the ball, he turns and he's like, oh wait, that does hurt. He was cut. His head had a gash in it, a couple inches big.
Well, okay, hold on. I think that's selling it a little bit. The fish was
inch and a half.
Okay, well you said a couple inches.
Inch and a half, couple inches, the same thing. Inch and a half, 2 inches, that half an inch difference. I'm sorry for hyperbolizing this a little bit. Sorry,
I know this.
A couple of inches of hyperbole.
I know this isn't great content, but I actually agree with you on both. That Kulusevski probably should have got a red for that, and I do also agree. But I'm going to take it back to another argument. Caicedo's the still frame looks as bad as Romero's red from 2 years ago.
Agreed.
When you still frame it, it looks awful.
Agreed.
But when you watch the video, Romero was not a red the same way Caicedo was not a red.
I think Romero deserved to be sent off last year.
Come on.
No, because it's different.
He kicked through the ball. We already set precedent. We're not arguing.
Episode 137, 197,
like that.
Whatever.
Yeah, 197 sounds about right.
But I do agree that the still frame looks worse than the play.
And then the Tottenham grounds crew had their work cut out for them for every single corner that Chelsea had. With all the trash on there.
It's infuriating. Don't throw the crap on the field. I get so infuriated at fans that want to throw stuff on the field, man.
And you know what?
Have a little class. Have a little class.
Look, I have like I don't know Cole Palmer, right? But like in his head, they're gonna throw all this trash at me. Fine, watch me disrespect their goalie in the worst way possible. With the fourth foul, with that Panenka goal, like no, because there's a picture of Forrester facing like if I'm facing the camera, the ball's like right here going into the goal, but like behind my head, and I'm just like,
he guesses and he sees it's a Panenka, and then he gets up and like looks back at it. He like turns
yes.
around the other way. Yeah,
Just watches it go into the
yeah.
goal.
I know.
Like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
but hey, but you know what happened though after that goal? And this is like after that goal, Tottenham woke up again. It was like the first like 20, 25 minutes was awesome from Tottenham. And then the last like 10 minutes was awesome from Tottenham. It was just everything in between was all Chelsea. And like there wasn't like there were fast breaks and it felt like the game was kind of open. But like
so let's expand. Let me expand this conversation slightly and more look at the broader picture and the broader implications of it. Brad, are Chelsea in the title race?
Who?
Can I answer for you?
I don't think so.
The answer is yes.
I don't.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Just because
we're 7. Wait. You guys are 9 points out. We're 7 points out. That's a 2 point. Like no. So
you're 4 points off the lead.
And Liverpool's game in hand is against Everton.
Hey, Derby, man. Anything happens in the Derby. So think back 2 years ago.
It could be windy again. You never know.
Think back 2 years ago when Arsenal were going up against City, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is too soon for Arsenal. City are going to win it," and of course, City did win it, and Arsenal did fall apart. And I think my sentiment at that point was, I don't know if we're going to have another opportunity like we have right now to try to win the league. So we need to win the league. And we didn't win the league. And then of course, last year we had another opportunity and we still didn't do it. And we're not going to do it this year, it looks like. And so I guess my point is that like Chelsea are right there. like you can't keep saying we're not. And I understand why Maresca does it. I understand why he says that they're not in the title race. But Chelsea need to treat this like that they're right in it, and the players need to treat it there. I think, much to my chagrin, and I will hate it, and I might go AWOL for like 2 months if Chelsea win the league. Chelsea are in the title race, and they should treat it like they are, and they should be treated. They should be treated like they are as well.
It's absolutely obnoxious to watch a team buy $100 million player after $100 million player.
No, don't get me started.
And then they just are rewarded for their overspending and just
overspending. So we have not spent $1.2 billion, sir. We have not done that. Jimmy Carragher.
Yeah, you just deferred it from. You will pay $1.2 billion in 2050 or whenever.
When he sells the team.
Yeah.
The Todd Bowley Dodgers special.
He's never selling this team because no one in their right mind would inherit all of that debt.
What about the Dodgers? What about the Dodgers? The Dodgers have even
Dodgers are even worse.
Chelsea is debt free still, sir. As part of the
we are not having this conversation because you're going to radicalize me all over again.
Anyways,
no, we should radicalize you.
Hey, you want to know something crazy?
I don't want to.
15 games played this year. We have scored 3 less goals than we did all of 22-23.
Scoring goals
this
helps.
Is we're banging goals. I mean, sure. Listen, if we end up in the hunt and like we can touch Liverpool with being on the same games. Okay, sure. If we can keep this like health, like be healthy.
Brad, you have 44 players on your active roster. What do you mean healthy?
Okay, well, hold on. Let's not get into that. Let's not. We've litigated that. Maresca sees 22, whatever. But let's turn on Tottenham for a second before we move on to another game, because you sent us a message that you brought up. It was a quote from Curti Romero, and there was unrest at the was it Bournemouth?
The Bournemouth
game.
The
Bournemouth game. And now you've lost at home to Chelsea. And
the unrest was that Ange went to address the traveling fans and they booed him.
Yeah. So my point is, like, like it would be incredible and insane to sack Ange, in my opinion. But where are Spurs at? Like what's going
So,
on?
so to provide a little bit more context on the Cuddy Romero quote, was basically he was asked about backing from management, not specific to Ange, but higher up.
Right. Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to choose not to comment on that, but you see that the rivals around you, the people we are the teams we are expected to compete with, Manchester City strengthens their roster. Chelsea strengthens their roster. Arsenal strengthens their roster.
Interestingly enough, he didn't quote Arsenal. He said Liverpool was the third.
Oh,
team.
he did. Yeah,
he didn't
Liverpool.
say Arsenal.
Dang.
But all of them strengthen their roster, and here we are. Basically, is what he said. That is paraphrasing. I don't remember the exact quote, but with rumors swirling that Real Madrid want him and Porro, that kind of leaves the door open of he's getting a little tired of it. And I look, Romero knew, and I knew, and I made you guys aware that we have 3 reliable center backs going into the season. We chose to loan everybody else out. And the fourth one being Ben Davies. And center back is not his bleeping position, man. He can play it adequately for a short period of time. He is not a center back. And you know what? God bless him for covering a weakness that we've had for 4 years. Since however long Vertonghen and Alderweireld left, who never got injured miraculously because we didn't have backups for them either. But Romero and Van de Ven get injured here and there, and we need solid backups, and that is the strength of Chelsea. That is the strength of City. That is the strength of Arsenal. Is when somebody gets injured, you just plug and play.
But okay, so where does that? Obviously, you're not Ange out.
No.
I think you're Levy out. You're very, very vocally. You want
this
Levy
guy's
on.
got. I hate seeing his face.
Are you worried that, that it all gets blown up because of Levy's ineptitude?
I think that's a really deep, penetrating question. Because I really think that we are on the precipice of doing something great with the roster that is currently constructed. We went from one of the oldest rosters to one of the youngest rosters. I think actually there was a handful of weeks that we played this year that we did have the youngest roster.
Probably true.
So I don't think we're going down the wrong path. I think we are getting the wrong results. And a good coach in the NFL, Dennis Green, used to say, "They are who we thought they were." Or another quote, and we let him off the hook. Or another quote that says, "You are." I think it's from Bill Parcells. Says, "You are who your record says you are."
Yeah.
So eventually, we got to face the music of, okay, yeah, we're 11th, so maybe not doing great. But you guys watch this team. I mean, from time to time, can you say Tottenham's a bad team? I don't think so.
I keep picking them to win because I think that they're a good team.
I watch them too. They're not bad. They just don't win.
So
every time go for it, Brad.
I want to push back on this whole 3 center backs thing. Do you think Ashley Phillips honestly is a better center back than Ben Davies right now? 19-year-old Ashley Phillips, who only played at Blackburn Rovers, was loaned to Plymouth Argyle. I don't know who they are, and then is now at Stoke.
My point is, Brad, that we went into this game with no primary center backs on the bench at all.
I get that.
Oh, Dragusin was on the bench.
Oh, Dragusin, but then he was in. So what?
Your cool, but then your transfers aren't you brought in
18-year-old
bunch of
Vuskovic when he turns
right,
18 next year.
you signed Solanke, then everybody else was 19 and younger.
Yeah.
So I think that
Right. But this is different than what he has done. So it's not like Levy hasn't spent money for the
No,
managers that have
like-
come in. Like he has, right? Like not as much as Chelsea, not as much as City, not as much as Arsenal, not as much as like maybe as much as Liverpool.
as much
right?
as Liverpool. Yeah. Liverpool and us are on the same.
But there has been a significant investment. Like we can't say he did not invest. It just might not have been as smart. And so now if you're going the teenager route, then does the higher ups think this season is the season that you guys were going to like, challenge for the Premier League, challenge for Champions League?
Yeah, but the problem is that you have to spend 40-50 million dollars on center backs, and you have to play them for 2 or 3 years. Like Arsenal didn't just play Gabriel and Ben White and go win the league. Like it took Saliba 3 years of playing constantly in France before he came back to Arsenal, and then Gabriel playing for 2 years for Arsenal, and then Ben White playing all the it's like,
Right.
like
This
is an issue with Spurs hierarchy and their planning, and you cannot. It is criminal. It's criminal to start a Premier League season of a English top flight team who are in Europe with, and I think the minimum number of games that Spurs were going to play this year were 48.
Yeah.
Like that's the minimum number, assuming that they lost in the first round and got knocked out of the Europa League in the group, in the table phase, whatever it's called.
We're realistically going to play 56-ish.
Something like that, right? Like, and you have 3 recognized center backs, 3 recognized senior center backs on your roster. That's unacceptable. And I know that's rich coming from the guy who has 7 center backs on his roster.
Or Brad, who has like 8.
But you can see, like, obviously there's value there. Like you need more than 3. I don't know if 7 is the number, but you need more than 3.
Yeah, at Arsenal, you're just like, oh, Timber's hurt, Kivior. Oh, Ben White gets hurt. Oh, just put in Calafiori. Like you just plug and play and just move on with your life.
And
well, I mean,
Spurs
you don't
can't
move
do
on,
that.
but
Spurs can't do that.
And we just can't.
But we have to move on. So
Yes,
I know you have a point that you want to make, Brad, but we have to move on.
No, I'm fine with that. I've made my points.
Have you guys seen this hilarious report that apparently Wolves want to bring back Nuno to coach Wolves?
Where's he? He's at Forest right now.
So,
why would he want to do that?
Bro, that's a really good question.
He is at let's be honest with ourselves. And like Nottingham Forest traditionally, the history of the club probably
European champions
is what a top 5 in England.
No,
nope.
No,
like we're talking United, Liverpool,
Arsenal.
Are they have the same amount of European championships as Tottenham? Arsenal don't have one, so
we do have a European title. Don't lie,
Brad. I tried to sneak that in there.
We have
but Chelsea,
Cup.
all right, but they're top 10. We're talking Villa. We're talking Forest. We're talking Leeds,
Everton. I don't know.
Yeah,
the problem
they're
is
a top 10-ish club.
Forest.
Why would he leave?
Forest have had a terrible 25 years until the last 3
okay,
years.
Well, if you just ignore those 25 years, they're not that.
I guess here's the question: is Adu going to want his own person in there?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't think that's something that happens now, right? Because clearly Adu's just walking in the door, so he can't be like, "Yeah, you're gone. You got a 6. Why are we 6, not first? Get out of here." But like that might be the thought process, or it was probably a joke too.
Adu is going to be over. He is not necessarily just for Forest. He's over all 3 of the clubs. So he's like the CEO of the footballing group. But it's laughable to say that you're going to go from currently 5th place Forest to 19th place Wolves when Wolves like their Wolves are constantly sacking managers. So that I just thought that was funny. But the reason why I brought that up is because Wolves lost at the weekend to West Ham in the El Sacchio. Surely Gary O'Neill's gonna be fired soon, right?
Apparently, he still has the backing of Wolves' hierarchy.
How?
I don't know.
We
Well,
keep
so
saying
we've said that
that Wolves are better than their position, and then they keep just doing bad. So
I mean, but like if you watch this, like, so if he was fired off of this game, that would have been unfair. If they lose the next game, then sure, because this one, Wolves probably had a couple of penalty shouts that weren't given, right? West Ham had a couple of lucky goals. Like, this is why I hate, like, I know we say El Sacchio because like that's what it feels like from the outside.
Yeah.
But like there's no, like, if I were to be fired from a job for losing one thing, then just fire me now.
I
Like,
agree with you, Brad.
cut me.
I agree with you, but he's lost 10 things. In
Right.
in a 15 game
Sure.
season, he's lost 10 things.
and not won 3 others.
He's not won 13 times in a 10 game in a 15 game season so far, and he's got Ipswich next at home. He like Wolves have to beat Ipswich.
That's probably the
I get
El
that,
Sacchio.
yes.
But the problem with, and I agree with your
No,
sentiment,
you're not
Brad.
firing the Ipswich. The Ipswich manager just signed a big contract.
Oh,
like
he's
he
good.
ain't going.
No,
He
no,
good.
The El
it's
Sacchio is specifically on the
for
Wolves
Wolves.
side.
Yes. Specifically for O'Neill.
Ipswich is saying, hey, if we can make it, McKenna, if you can keep us up, like, you a legend. But if not, we'll come back up next year.
Didn't I see a tweet that said Tottenham are looking at McKenna if Ange gets replaced, or is that just like
I can see that.
fans like wet dreaming themselves?
Probably wet dreaming themselves.
Tottenham Twitter is the most toxic place on earth right now.
It's not. Oh, it might be.
It's not.
It might be.
It's not a
Chelsea
good.
anymore.
Don't go on to Spurs Twitter right now. It's not. Nobody's thinking logically. There is not a shred of logic on Spurs Twitter.
You tell me expressions isn't always logical and highly reasonable.
I might get up on there just to relive the glory days of Chelsea toxic Twitter.
You may also need therapy, just like Fraser Forster.
I think that Lopetegui has bought himself a little bit more time, getting another win. But that's a good result. Also, we need to mention the Michael Antonio situation. He was injured in a very serious car crash end of last week and had a major surgery on his lower leg. There's not a whole lot of information that's out yet. There's a picture of a car that is purported to be his that looks absolutely destroyed. Now he is alive and in stable condition, but a football player having major surgery on a leg. I don't know if he's ever going to play football again. That's like a serious consideration that needs to be made. And he doesn't know that now. The doctors don't know it now. But there is a real possibility that he never plays football again.
Yeah.
The way the car looked and the fact that the only information we know is that he had surgery on a lower leg,
and he was airlifted from that car crash. Yeah,
you would assume that the bottom of his foot is absolutely in pieces. Like his X-ray looked awful.
Yeah,
I'm sure it just. Yeah, I agree with you, James. I think there is a more reasonable than not assumption that he is not playing soccer again.
Yeah,
for the rest of his life.
So maybe not even definitely not a high level.
Maybe in the backyard with his kids one day, but he's not playing professionally anymore.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe we're wrong. I hope we're wrong, but
I hope we're wrong too.
It did look very bad. Quick shout for Nuno though. Forest pick up all 3 points at Old Trafford against Manchester United. Ruben Amorim has now lost 2 straight, and
just like the 90s, baby. Just like the
90s. Obviously, United are kind of like we're resetting our opinions and our expectations on United.
Hey.
Yeah, we.
We.
No, me and Brad, but on the host is resetting his expectations. We knew.
Look, it's funny how we will go to West Ham and then we go to Manchester. Did you have another? Was there another game that you wanted to talk about after this one? I mean, Amorim already said, "Hey, I'm gonna lose a lot right now because these players don't know how to play how I want you to play."
Don't worry, Brad. I'm not intentionally skipping the dumpster fire that is Arsenal Football Club.
No. You missed. No. You're missing the United table.
What?
The United table is at 14 West Ham. At 13, Manchester. At 12, Newcastle. This is the United table, which is just below those Tottenham Hotspurs.
Tottenham Hotspur United. Yeah, no, I thought you were.
Look,
I thought you were calling me
No,
out.
I thought you had seen that. I thought you had seen that meme that like all the United teams are united together on the table. They're united in the mid-table.
Yeah, good for them. Well, since I said it, Arsenal are terrible, and we can't beat Fulham. We've played Fulham 4 times. We've played Fulham full times and can't beat them. Like we're just not good.
Hey,
I would rather be terrible in 3rd than terrible in 11th. So
sure, but my expectations were to be great in 1st, and I don't think those were your expectations.
Go ahead, Brad. I cut you off.
No, you're great. No, because this is what I was gonna say. Like, because like we could play this 3 seasons ago, 4 seasons ago, when Arsenal were 11th, and James is saying the exact same opinion. So, like, if somebody were to just listen to this podcast and not like check out the YouTube and see my man James with like 40 different Arsenal kits, they probably would think he's a United fan the way he like pimps out Manchester United and hates on Arsenal.
It's just you
He's basically Lee Gunner. Are you calling him Lee Gunner?
Oh my God, don't lump him in with him. The things that you love the most cause you the most pain and harm, and yes, I do have lots of Arsenal kits, and they're all very proudly hung up in my closet, and maybe I'm gonna add a few more because I haven't picked up this year's jerseys yet. But no, like Arsenal should be beating Fulham. Like the goal we gave up was apparently like the XG on it was like 0.05 or something. It was a terribly small. It was a great goal, but like it's not a goal we should be giving up. And then like
that's Arsenal West. Are you?
Yes, yeah. It's
you
Arsenal
hating
West.
on Arsenal West?
No, yeah. I am. There was a funny tweet that I saw that was like every Arsenal fan wants to see this, and the scoreline was like Fulham 1, Arsenal 3, and it was the one goal was like scored by Emile Smith Rowe, assisted by Alex Iwobi.
Yeah,
and then it was like Saka, Winieri, Odegaard, or whatever it was, and it's like like that's what we want. We want our guys to do well. Like I want Emile Smith Rowe to be the best Fulham midfielder, carry them to Europe. That's what I want. I want Alex Iwobi to be slamming in goals. I want Reece Nelson to be slamming in goals. I want Bernd Leno to have clean sheets, one less clean sheet
than Raya.
Yeah, exactly. All of them Arsenal legends. But
it is insane. They have 4 former Arsenal players. There's a
lot of Arsenal players floating around the league. Not as many as Chelsea.
Is this when Brad's going to pull out the minutes played by former Cobham players?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't need to because we walk that anyway. So no.
Yeah, but I am
going to say that
I'm terribly disappointed. Terribly disappointed in Arsenal.
So Cole Palmer has a chance to surpass the Premier League like goal involvement for a calendar year. He's at 38 now, which is the highest for Chelsea ever. I think it's 46 or 44, and we got 4 games to do it.
Is the leader Harry Kane?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I was thinking. Once you said that, I was like, oh, I think that was Harry Kane that holds that record.
That is such a ESPN statistic. Calendar.
Yes, on Sundays
on involvements.
And
on
even days.
ESPN was if you take away most Salah's contributions, then Liverpool are in the relegation zone. Like, sure, let's do that with Cole Palmer and see what happens. Let's do that with Haaland and see what happens. Like,
there was something. I was watching the Chelsea game this morning, the Chelsea Tottenham game, and one of the main announcer said name dropped some, and then we're gonna get out of here in a second. But he name dropped some sort of analytic stat, and Graham Lasso was just like, "You just made that up," and he's like, "This is not," and he's like, "No, it's like powerful touches in the opponent's final third or something like that," and you're just like, "Oh, it's possession in opponent's final," whatever it was, and Graham Lasso was just like, he wasn't having it, and I'm not having it either.
But all right, I do got a little bit of trivia.
All right, last one.
Ooh.
Yeah, trivia. Oh, trivia. Okay, yeah.
Real quick.
The floor is yours.
I'll give you 2 in the same question.
Okay.
In the top 10 of goals scored this season so far, there are 4 players that have double digits, and there are 2 teams represented twice. So I will give you 2 of the players with double digits. That's Erling Haaland and Mo Salah. Both have 13. I want you to name the other 2, and I want you to name the 2 teams represented twice
In the top 10.
in the top 10 specifically.
Okay, Chelsea's one of
So
them.
yes.
That's correct. You have
Yes, and I know the second one, James, but I'll let you have another crack for number 2 because number 1 is Chelsea.
Mhm.
You said
correct.
what? Salah Palmer is
It's gotta be-
is number
Yes.
3.
It's got to be Tottenham. It's
It
got to be
is not
Tottenham.
Tottenham.
They scored a
It
lot
is
of goals,
not
though.
Spurs. It is not.
We do,
It
but
is-
not the same player scores enough.
Do you have one? I'll give you one more guess, and then I will say the answer for you.
I don't want to say Arsenal, even though I feel like you're goading me into saying
You don't
Arsenal.
have a single player
Yeah.
in the top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Neither do Tottenham.
City?
No.
Nope.
This is
Forest?
yes, Chris Wood. And I forget who the second one
Brad's
is.
wrong. Brad's wrong.
Oh, Forest were in it last week when I looked at it.
All right.
The other team
Hold on.
represented twice. Both players on this team have the same amount of goals scored.
Oh, I just looked at it because I was intrigued. That's good.
It's Brentford.
Oh yeah. Oh shoot, it was yes.
Well, everybody has named the other 2 answers, which is the other 2 that have double digits is Cole Palmer and Chris Wood on Nottingham Forest. But yeah, interesting. Brentford have both Brian Mbeumo and Yohan Wissa at 9 goals.
Andre Onana still has the most clean sheets at 6.
This is
My
crazy.
gosh. That's a great way to end this because how does he keep doing? I feel like the meme. He can't keep getting away with this.
Get in the comments. Let us know what you think. Hit us up on social media. That guy up top is at KSBradG. Down below is at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany. Collectively, we are at Redcard_Radio. A little bit of longer one tonight. We apologize, but there was just a lot going on. So we will be back later this week, Friday, with the preview of round 16. I hope you guys tune in. And until then, I hope you have a good one, and we will see you soon.